Welcome to Secrets. Now, you've all seen the letter from the EU Commissioner to Elon Musk, and I've seen lots of comments about it, particularly with regard to Elon Musk's meme response to go and, so you've all seen that. But as usual, I record these things sometimes a day in advance, sometimes on the same day, and by the time I'd recorded the previous one over on my so-called main channel, which you can go and watch, I'll link that below. I go into more detail about the letter and what the law is, but I hadn't seen the articles that talked about the response to that, because apparently he went rogue. Thierry Breton apparently went rogue, because this is the Express headline. There's plenty of them that have talked about it, but this is in the Express and said, EU civil war explodes as minister accused of going rogue with seriously harmful decision. Talking about the letter that he sent to Elon Musk. It says EU officials have slapped down their internal market commissioner, accusing him of going rogue over a letter he posted to Elon Musk on X. It says Thierry Breton posted a letter to the platform shortly before he interviewed Donald Trump. It wasn't an interview, it was a conversation, but that's how they describe it. It wasn't an interview. Warning of the possible amplification of harmful content. It says the European Commission reacted with fury as Breton's unsanctioned intervention, saying it had not been approved. It says the timing and the wording of the letter were neither coordinated or agreed with the president nor the commissioners, etc. Another EU official told the Financial Times that Breton was a law unto himself, saying that he has his own mind and his own way of working and thinking. But this just gets me on to thinking, well, two things really. First of all, what do I think about the letter? And secondly, what other kind of ramifications does this have? Now, firstly, what do I think about the letter? I think what most people think about the letter. I think it's a bit ridiculous. I think it was unnecessary. It was a heavy-handed warning shot to Elon Musk, not even the CEO of the platform. Now, it should have been directed at the CEO of the platform. It shouldn't have been directed at Elon Musk. Yes, he owns the platform, but that's not the point. If this is a warning shot legally, it should have gone to those who are actually in control of it from a legal standpoint, which would be the CEO, the COO, and whoever. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't think it was really necessary, because if the platform is already under investigation, if they're already in discussions over legal issues and so on, why send another letter just ahead of this conversation with Donald Trump? That doesn't make much sense. If anything, that raises questions and criticism of the EU Commission, which is a point I'll come back to in a moment, raises criticisms of the EU Commission with potentially interference of material to do with the election, because this can only really be seen as to be something to do with the election, because Elon Musk saying that he's endorsing Donald Trump, and that means a lot to a lot of people. And having this conversation with Donald Trump on his platform, again, means a lot to a lot of people, and can really foreseeably have an impact on the election. And thus, a public warning letter like that from the EU to Elon Musk must have some impact upon everything to do with the election. And I think that's wrong. That's my personal opinion, and that's what you're here for. I think it was a bit heavy-handed, a bit ridiculous, and frankly, uncalled for, not necessary. And so what's my second thought about this? Well, the second thought is, if the EU Commission has now said that this was unsanctioned, not approved, not agreed, and etc., but it bore the logo of the EU Commission, anyone receiving that letter would assume that it has been approved, it has been sanctioned as a whole, and has been sent with their approval. Now, we had a recent experience with a local authority, a local council here in England and Wales, and we had several dealings. There were 2 or 3 phone calls followed up by 2 or 3 letters, many of which were contradictory. And the final phone call said that the phone calls with the previous people within the office were not sanctioned. They were not authorized to say what they did, and what they said was wrong, and they won't stand by what we were previously told. But if we are told certain things by people within that office, surely they should stand by what they've said. Otherwise, they should be held accountable for what they have said. Because if that was a company and a company had agreed to certain things, they would be held to those as part of a contract, a contractual agreement. So surely officials within a local authority should be holding them liable for what they say, because it was an official position, and we'd acted on that official position, and then that had been retracted and reneged upon by somebody else later on, and that was confirmed in a letter. So maybe we should have more regulation regarding what they say officially on behalf of organizations like that. Maybe they should be held more accountable for what they do and what they say. At least then that would be fairer for the likes of you and me when we are dealing with these people and we make decisions based on what they say, because otherwise they are quite literally a law unto themselves. When they say we are doing this and this is the way we're doing it, I don't care what the other officials in the local authority said to you, we're not going to follow what they've said. So we're not doing that, you've got to change things. Again, equally, I think that's wrong. And so how does that apply to this situation? Well, there should be some recourse if the EU Commission has not sanctioned this letter. So that I find quite staggering. So that is just one thing that you're here for on Secrets. There's many more to come. But I thought that was one interesting thing to follow up on because I'd recorded the other one before I'd seen this article about the EU response saying that they don't support that letter. Although it did say, to be fair, as an internal market commissioner, Breton is responsible for enforcing the act and can communicate independently with companies. But it did seem to me that this was somewhat of an embarrassed response to say that they didn't support the letter. So again, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Politely and respectfully, please. Make sure you subscribe and I'll see you again very shortly. Much more to talk about.